a piece of shit. That's really all there is to it. I really am a piece of shit. I can't move my body to do the things that need to be done, even though I know they need to be done.
It's all right. Just whenever you get a chance, because.
Oh, you know what? I have a question once we start recording.
Well, we have, and we're in the group.
Once we start the episode, it's a thought-provoking scientific question.
All right, great. Well, let's see. Let's just make sure that we're where we're supposed to be. Yep, we're here. All right. Welcome to this week's episode of Take It or Leave It, an advice-ish podcast hosted by myself, Meredith Masony.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Jenkins. This podcast will discuss all things marriage, motherhood, and everything in between. Please remember, we're not professionals at anything you may actually need, so any advice we give you, you could take
or leave because it might be crap. On today's episode of Take It or Leave It, I'll talk about how I almost died yesterday.
Oh, God. So dramatic.
It was.
I don't even know what happened. I'm just assuming it's dramatic.
It involved Rooster.
Not gonna lie, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. We could talk about that. We could talk about how I spent all that money on lip filler and then it went bad and I had to go in and have it shot up to have it removed. And then all of it broke down and I have to go back again to have it removed because I make poor life choices.
Same. Are we going to talk about how you're wearing a silk collared outfit with a knit cardigan? Are we going to talk about
first of all, these are my Amazon satin PJs that I had to get for a party that I went to on Sunday.
What kind of party, Meredith?
My friend, she's delightful and very crafty and very put together, and she's gorgeous. And she's like, I'm hosting a charcuterie board party. And I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. And she's like, everybody has to be in charge of a board, of a charcuterie. And we're all wearing fall festive pajamas. And I was like, great. Fuck my life.
No, this is not. I mean, I think it's so cute and I love it.
And she is so cute and I love her that I was like, I will do this for you, but it goes against every one of my bodily instincts. So I ordered the cheapest pair of beigey Amazon pajamas. What?
My kids have a freaking book report, dude. Sorry.
Today?
I don't know, but it just dawned on me that I have to get a fall-themed book for the book report.
Yeah.
Fall-themed crap you got going on.
Yeah. So anyway, I said to her, because I don't like making charcuterie, I was like,
how do you say it?
I was like, can I be in charge of desserts? Because that would be easy. And she's like, no, I'm sorry. Somebody already signed up for that. And I was like, damn it, Christine. Damn it all to hell. I can't live like this.
Was it Helen? It seems like some shit Helen would do.
I was like, I told you I wanted pie. That's what I was going to bring. A fucking pie. And she's like, I'm sorry. You're going to have to come up with something a little more crafty than that. So I ended up making punch.
That's not
alcohol punch.
That's not a charcuterie, Meredith.
It's not. But I hung a left. I banked a hard left because if I would be so embarrassed if I brought one of these shitty charcuteries because everybody else's was so beautiful and they looked so good. And I would have shown up with like a cheese stick, a wonky looking pickle, and like just a pound of salami because I don't know. Making things pretty is not my jam. I don't make things pretty. It's not.
I disagree.
I could not do anything crafty like that. I don't do well.
Okay.
Plus I wanted key lime pie, personally.
Ooh, I love key lime pie.
Oh.
What, in our intro, we used to say you can download this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Music. I'm your host, Meredith, but you just don't say that anymore?
Yeah.
Is it because we're too cool and we don't need people really to know where to
No,
go?
because I don't remember the lines to the intro, but you can download us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, Castbox, anywhere that they have podcasts. We're there,
Yeah.
infecting it. We're there.
Speaking of infection,
Yeah, what?
not me.
I have an infection?
I think, didn't you have one? Didn't you get a body part removed?
Oh, it wasn't infected. That was
I lied to some of my followers.
that was just well, it was at some point, but this started in March. I just need you to understand the timeline.
Okay.
So the first ingrown toenail was removed in March. Another one was removed, same nail, same spot in May. Another one was removed about 4 weeks ago.
The whole nail? Is that what we're talking about?
The whole nail is gone at this point, but at first it was just a little sliver on the side because it kept getting ingrown. And here's the thing. I have this one wonky toe. I call it the penis toe.
Okay.
Because it's a hammer toe. I have an ugly hammer toe. It's disgusting.
No, you do not. You're
yes,
so
on my right foot, I have an
No.
ugly hammer toe.
It's not a hammer. Don't talk to me about hammer toes, bitch.
The doctor told me.
No, the doctor did not.
He said you have a hammer toe, and the reason that your nail keeps getting ingrown is because it's hitting the inside of your shoe because your toe is hammered.
No.
And I was like, okay, fine. But we have now done this thrice, and I do not want to do this anymore. And he's like, well, I don't know what to tell you because I'm looking at your toenail. This is what he says to me last week when I go in. He goes, I'm looking at your toenail. It looks perfectly healthy. I said, it hurts so bad. I accidentally touched it, taking off my sock after walking the dog yesterday, and I cried. That's how bad it hurt. Tears were in my eyes. It hurt that bad. He goes, I'm telling you, I'm going to pull this nail for you because you're telling me you want it pulled, but there's nothing wrong with it. And I said, there's no way there's nothing wrong with it because it hurts so incredibly bad. So he goes, okay, I'm going to pull it out, but I'm just going to let you know when I pull it out and there was nothing wrong with it, it might grow back weird. And I go, listen to me. I am telling you it hurts. So he starts injecting me, which by the way, a needle to the toe, so painful.
Yeah.
Stupid painful. Because it's like they just jab the bone because there's no meat.
Oh, I hate this.
Vomit.
No,
all right. So anyway.
I'm good. It's just don't say meat.
They numb up the toe and he starts digging around with his instruments and then he yanks it and he goes, oh, you were right. He goes, the whole bottom of the nail bed was bad. It must have gotten ruined when I poured acid in it last time to kill the ingrown toenail. It soaked all underneath your nail bed and the bottom part of your nail was not attached and the top part was. So every time you'd move, nail was shimmying back and forth. And that's why it was so painful because it was slowly ripping itself off. Guy tried to gaslight me, tell me that there was nothing wrong with that motherfucking toe.
Dude, when I tell you I have full body chills right now for some reason, I can't. He just casually was like, oh, it's probably from when I poured acid last time.
Yeah. I was so mad because I was like, I told you it hurt.
Oh
like, why would I come back here and spend more money? I'm $1,000 deep on this toe, just so we're clear. Because every time I go in, it's $150 to have it either burned or pulled or whatever. I am $1,000 in on this motherfucking toe.
Well, that must have been really validating for you.
Well, I just don't hate. I hate it when doctors assume that we're full of shit, bullshit liars. Because like, why would I go back to the podiatrist? Like, at what point am I sitting around during my day and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna complain about this toe, so I can go and spend more money at the fucking podiatrist of all places.
Right.
Like, I don't have toe Munchausen, okay? I just have a bad toe.
You don't have a toe munch. Oh, okay.
Toe Munchausen.
Yeah.
You know.
I know.
Which, by the way, what a scary documentary that's on Netflix right now about Munchausen by proxy with the little girl. Take Care of Maya.
Wait, so her mom did have Munchausen by proxy? I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Oh, it's heartbreaking.
A lot of people in my town were talking about it because it happened in the next town over.
Yep, yep, yep. And there are so many cases where they were mishandled in the state of Florida alone, where people were sent to jail and arrested and had to pay a bunch of fines, all because this one doctor was claiming that they were abusing their kids and had Munchausen. It's insane. You got to watch it. It was I was like, this is legit crazy. It's so sad.
Wow. I
Very
don't
sad story.
know if I
Anyway,
want to watch it.
Take Care of Maya. I think it's on Netflix. It's ridiculously insane.
Yeah. By the way, somebody mentioned this amazing point. Is the doctor going to cover the acid issue? Like it's his fault.
He said that it's a rare complication that could happen. Blah blah blah. And I'm sure I signed a form that says
just gonna
when shit hits the fan, it's not on us, right? Because you have to, every time you go in, you have to sign another form saying this doctor's going to touch you. And when he cuts off the wrong toenail, you can't be mad because he did some coke on the way in today. This is on you. Okay.
Alleged. We're not.
And no, I don't think my podiatrist does coke like during working hours by any stretch, but I don't know his business. I don't know his business, but what I do know is I mean, I don't dislike the guy, but I hate having to forcefully demand, because if you don't forcefully demand, they look at you, and this is doctors in general. I have just a bad relationship with doctors in general. I think just because of how many things I've gone through medically in my life and been told there's nothing wrong with me.
Right.
And so this guy, I was just like, look, man, I was like, pull. And I said exactly this. I said, pull the fucking nail out of my foot because I can't take the pain anymore. And I do not want to come back for this toenail again. So he said, well, okay, if that's what you want, that's what we'll do. I said, that's what I want. And not 2 minutes into pulling that sucker out, not even 30 seconds, he flips the nail upside and he goes, oh, you were right. Whole thing's dead down here, the whole nail bed. And I was like, no shit, Sherlock.
Damn, dude.
I mean, I was limping around crying on this stupid toe. It's like I birthed 3 babies through my vagina.
Yeah.
And this toe hurts worse than anything.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, and Dave is so tired of me complaining about the toe that he's like, cut it off and get a prosthetic and be done with it.
I mean, that's extreme. Okay. So through that toe story, I was trying to find a fall book on Amazon because I'm panicking now because my kid actually keeps
What about The Great Pumpkin from Charlie Brown?
No, I mean, there is a creepy man in a 90s windbreaker behind you.
Dave was just out exercising.
Oh, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
What's the weather where you are?
50.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine
chilly.
says it's 93 degrees outside.
I don't know if it's 93 degrees at your house, but up north here in the great
north.
white north of Florida, it's 50 something degrees cold.
I have to get something delivered today to get this delivery quickly. What should I get delivered?
I just said, what about The Great Pumpkin?
No. I have the book. It said it can be delivered today between 5 and 8 p.m. if I do $25 of qualifying orders.
Oh, what else do you need?
Who knows? Just tell me something wild to order.
Oh, well, did you order their Halloween costumes yet?
I did.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. What could you order?
Dildo. That's not what you were going to say. I thought that's what you started.
I'm here for it if that's what you want to order. And I want to see pics. Or
I don't have enough room for more dildos. Candy, somebody said.
Oh, yeah, you get your Halloween candy.
Genius.
Yeah, that's smart. We went a whole other direction.
Yeah, we did.
We were like, fuck them kids and their Halloween. Dills all day.
Yeah, good idea. All right. You know what? I'll do this after. The way my brain is set up, I feel like I have to do. Oh, look at this right here. $30. Jesus, take the wheel. Well, you know what? I'm just going to wait. I'm afraid if I wait, I'll forget. I wish I wasn't the way I am, Meredith. I really do. It's really frustrating. That was going to be my question. Do you think that some people with certain mental disorders, or I don't know if I'd call it a disorder, I'll think of a nicer word. It's certain people with certain things are not meant to be alone. I know that everyone says, sometimes you have to be alone. You have to learn to love yourself. You have to heal, blah, blah, blah. But do you think there's ever a case? I mean, apart from the obvious, where some people just like literally can't function alone and need somebody in their life to kind of help them navigate through. Like, let's say hypothetically someone had inattentive ADHD and a slew of other things, and they had a lot of problems with functioning, such as doing laundry, doing dishes, ordering things that need to be ordered for the home, to the point where they generally will just sleep to avoid doing these things. So these things never get done. However, if someone else is in the home, they are motivated by guilt and shame to do the things, so the things get done. Like, I'm just wondering, I was thinking about this last night. Maybe I'm not meant to be alone. Maybe there's just some people who can't be alone because all life will cease.
Or maybe this is just the season of your life where you learn how to be alone.
It's been 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's gotten done.
Okay.
Nothing. I've had a pair of Croc shoes floating in the pool for 3 months. I threw them in there because they were dirty and I was scared there were spiders in them.
Uh-huh.
They're still floating, Meredith.
Well, I mean, what you're explaining, though, is somebody who's, very codependent. And although at times codependency and
thank you to the person who said, don't beat yourself up. I promise I'm not trying to beat myself up. Like it's just facts now at this point. And it's something I've just come to understand about myself. And you'd think that with understanding would come solutions. But I feel quite literally paralyzed.
let me interrupt you just for a second, because you're on that white flag thing, right? That app.
Yes.
Okay. Can you use that app for accountability partners?
I haven't tried it.
So what if you use that app? Because I know that you've said wonderful things about this app and you can explain to everybody what it is. But what if you use White Flag as your accountability partner while you take this little adventurous journey into, being on your own and doing your own things and taking care of things? Because I don't think you need somebody living in your house for you to be accountable and to hold you accountable for things. But what you want is to be held accountable so that things don't fall through the cracks, and that you have some motivation for doing things, right? Like for me, crossing it off the list. Oh, it's so hot.
These comments are so interesting and validating.
Oh, Kaylin, there are apps, I'm sure, to help with body doubling.
Look at
But
Dave
I'm saying, what if
spitting facts.
Okay,
Dave
said,
said,
go ahead.
I don't think your problem is not being able to do anything. Your paralysis comes from seeing all of the small things as one big problem. Break it down to one problem. Wait, it's moving. Sorry. Break it down to one problem, a delay. And by the end of the month, you will be amazed.
One problem a day, I think he meant.
Oh, you would know. That's so cute. You
Yeah.
knew what his typo meant.
Yeah, but I think that's what it is, right? Is I do the same thing. I look and I just see the overwhelm, and then Dave is like, focus here. And then I'm like, okay. And then I make my notes and my list about this situation. And what I started doing was I have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday list that has my normal tasks. I print it out and then I add on anything that's extra that day. And then I go through and cross all of that off. Now, I know that's not your jam. I know you don't want to do that. But I'm saying, if you have somebody who is going to, because you can do things, you can do great big things, you can do scary things. You've done it. You've proven that. I hope you've proven that to yourself.
It's the things that don't produce any dopamine for me that I hate doing them. Like if there's not some kind of payoff, and to me, a payoff isn't having a drawer full of clean clothes because I grew up living out of piles of clothes so I can function. I grew up in disarray.
So when you don't have any feeling of euphoria after you finish a task if it's mundane, is what you're saying?
No, yeah, absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm like, thank God I did that thing that society tells me I have to do. Now I can not feel guilty about it for a few days until I have to do it again. But it's not like, yes, oh, this is so much better. It's never that. It's like, okay, it's done. What's next?
Yeah. So yeah, Dave is speaking some real truth. Except he's been. He said the sky is not falling. These are little things along the way. Don't consider them problems. Consider them checkpoints to a destination. Unless you're dealing with AT&T. Because we've been dealing with AT&T for months now. Those criminal thieves. It's a criminal enterprise. If you're giving AT&T your money, just so you know, they're stealing from you.
We talked about that. And
Okay,
I
sorry.
also think maybe lawsuit wise, you should chill.
Okay.
But I've said this and I'll say it again. I will pay Dave to be my effing life coach. Like we can, like, you know how trainers come up with schedules, meal plans. Like I will pay. Dave has changed my life.
Do you think if Dave did set a schedule up for you and he's not physically around because he lives here, would you get those things done just because you were given the schedule?
Ugh, it makes me want to puke.
I'm just saying, I'm
Like
sure he
thinking
would
about
do
being
that.
given tasks. It makes me have a sick feeling in my stomach. Being told what to do, I hate it. But I also need it, which makes no sense. I know it makes no sense. I'm in a what's a contradiction? Everything about me is a contradiction. It makes no sense. I want to be thin and healthy, but I also want to eat 7 quesadillas. I want a clean, beautiful home, but I also don't want to pick up one single sock off the floor. I want to make a lot of money, but I don't want to work. Like it just, none of it. I don't know. My question was about being single. Do you think that I need a lover to help
I
me?
would love for you to have a lover.
No, but specifically for tasks.
But I don't think that you need that. I think that most people like to have a partner, a person, right? You don't want to be lonely in life. I get all of those things.
But
But
no,
yeah,
but
you
I'm
need a
talking
wife.
like, are there people who can't function without a partner? Like, are there people who just need to be with somebody in order to do life?
Yeah, but
Like,
I think that those people are clinically codependent. And so I think that I mean, I don't know anything about what a therapist would tell them, but I'm assuming it would be that you have to learn to go through these things so that you can do the tasks that you need to do. And then the person that you eventually find is going to complement the way you live, who you are, and your lifestyle.
I mean, that makes sense.
Because
That
you
makes
can do
sense.
all these things. There's nothing that you mentioned are you not physically capable of doing?
Physically, I'm totally capable.
Yeah. You have to work through your shit in order to get in the right mental place.
You know how some people need caregivers for physical disabilities, though? Like, what
Mhm.
if you need a caregiver for mental disabilities?
Mm.
Like, why don't they have those? Is my question. I'm not even trying to be funny or minimize it. Like, the mental stuff that I have, and I don't like to list off all of the things that I've been diagnosed with, but what
All
if
the time.
let me break out my encyclopedia. But what if you need a caregiver for mental stuff? What if? I think that's what I need.
So you mean like a roommate whose
No,
job is to
a nurse who's cleans.
I don't think that's what nurses do.
Like, okay, I'll come up with a specified job. I don't know, but you know how physical therapists are like, okay, buddy, you broke your leg. I'm going to show up at your house. We're going to do physical therapy a few times a week. Somebody shows up and they're like, okay, I see you've got some kind of paralysis situation going on. We're going to do laundry together because I mentally cannot do it myself. So it's like a
can I ask
caregiver.
what happened? Because you were doing really well. Did you have
A relapse?
No, I'm not a relapse. I just mean, did something happen? Did you have something that triggered you to fall back
Yes.
in? Okay.
Constantly. Every 3 days, there is a huge plot twist in my life that I have to feel and experience and go through. And my heart feels like it's going to explode out of my chest. And I have all of these feelings and emotions, and I don't know how to cope with them. And I feel rageful. And I feel completely out of my mind, out of control, in tears, short fused, and I just don't move. It just keeps coming in waves.
Mm-hmm.
So I have moments where I'm thriving and killing it, but then I have moments where I'm like, fuck this, fuck you, fuck everybody. What is life? I don't know. I just listen. This doesn't have to be like a whole thing about me and my mental issues. I was just specifically curious because I was laying in bed thinking about it last night. I'm like, what if some people who are like physically disabled cannot live alone because they need somebody to help them carry out everyday daily tasks that they can't? What if it's like that for people with mental issues, but we just don't treat it that way? So all of these people are walking around with these debilitating, soul-crushing obstacles in their brain, and they can't do daily tasks. And they need a caregiver or a housekeeper. But you can't get one because you have to pay so much alimony every month that you can't fucking afford anything extra.
Well, that's what I was just going to say is it something that you realistically want to happen? Because if it is, then, I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to try it.
I would absolutely in a second hire a housekeeper if I could. In a second. Just to kind of like.
Do you mean housekeeper like Alice from the Brady Bunch where she did all of the things? Or just to clean house?
If I was Elon Musk, let's say. Fuck yes. Excuse my mouth.
Yeah.
We'll have to put an explicit warning on this. Hell yeah. But I also, that's something different than what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about someone who like trains me and eventually leaves so that I can learn to do it on my own and not have somebody do it for me.
You're looking for a support person to give you training wheels.
Yeah.
So eventually the training wheels can come off.
Yeah, but they have to be here a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that that's a bad idea at all, because I do think that that getting into the habit of doing these things will eventually force it to become habit. And if you have that person who's saying, and you're also not, see, but then there's the flip side. Like, what happens if you become emotionally attached to that person?
Yeah, because it's so mental.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Then that gets kind of crazy because you're like, you don't want to develop feelings for.
Whoa, this is turning into like some kind of romance book. What
I'm
are we
just
talking
saying,
about?
we could write that book. Tiffany Jenkins hires a male Australian stripper to be her human support person.
Yes. You can't leave. I've given you all the tools you need. There's one more tool.
Let's reach into your toolbox and find it. My loins are on fire. Take me, Australian lumberjack. Have your way with me. See, it went there. It's where it went. But I feel I do support the idea, but I also I think of these pitfalls. Because it's like, you do not want to have this person and then be like, well, now we have to get married because you've helped me fix my life. And they're like, but no, I have to go now. I have to go do
That's
something.
how I would be too. I'd be like, sorry, you can't leave. I put deadbolts. We're together now. You can't leave me.
A remake of the movie Misery. Hold on, let me get my sledgehammer. I'll be right back.
Yes.
Legs up here.
People are saying life coach, and I've thought about it, but like I physically need something, a person. Also, should I have Phil cut out the thing about alimony? I shouldn't have said it, really.
It's okay, and he can cut it out. Phil,
Okay.
you're gonna have to cut that out.
Just the part about alimony. And now I've said it 3 times on my supporter page and yours.
It's okay. It's a safe place.
The internet.
I'm telling you, I don't dislike the idea. What gets me is just you really are you're just such
Child.
you're such a feeler, an empath, that I wouldn't want you to get into a relationship that would potentially, because I mean, if this person is literally living in your house,
No.
you don't want them living in the house.
Ew, no.
Okay, so they're coming over every day, and it's like day starts 8 a.m. Let's get going.
A lot. And it doesn't have to be every day. It could be 3 days a week.
Okay, I like this better then. Yeah.
And it's like, listen, I want to show you some tricks and tips to make laundry fun so that you can change the way you feel about it and frame it differently. And I'm going to help you set up stations so that, you know, like right now, the laundry, I pull it out of the dryer and I throw it in Aubrey's room because Aubrey's only over here once or twice every 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And so her room is just not occupied. So I'm like, this will be my laundry room. But now there's just mountains of laundry in Aubrey's room. So then she comes over and I'm like, I'm so sorry. You can sleep in the room with me or, you know, whatever. Like just a piece of shit.
Well, and I mean, you're doing that so that it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. But it also feels like I'm accomplishing something, but then I got to get in there and do it. And so, I mean, props to myself. I did go in there and everything is like in neat piles ready to have hangers put on. The shorts are all folded and stuff. I just got to put them away.
Yeah, that's great.
But it feels like I've climbed Mount Everest by the time that I've, you know, gotten them in piles. So I'm like, I'm good now. I'll do the rest later. And then later never comes.
Yeah, that's tricky. That really is tricky.
But basically, to just round it out, there's no such thing as a person who's meant to not be single because they can't function. You can't use somebody romantically as a scapegoat or an excuse to function in life, is what you're saying.
I don't know. I'm not going to say any of that. I don't have any.
I need your professional opinion.
I don't have one. I'm not a professional at anything. We literally give that in our intro. No, I don't know. I'm just saying, I think that you really are, and I can't speak to divorce because I don't know about it personally, but I think from what I've heard of friends and other people who have shared stories with me about it, just because you signed the papers and the ink is dry on the divorce, that's the beginning. I don't like it's such a journey, and what you saying it comes in waves sounds perfectly accurate in terms of a description. So just because you're saying I'm 5 months into this, I should be okay now. Like why?
Yeah.
Why is there a timeline for you to be okay at the 5-month mark? I don't think that that's a thing. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I do think that you're learning things through this process, and you know, it's going to take time.
Somebody said, did he do a lot of this stuff? Yes, it was his job, his one job, because he didn't work. So he did laundry and he did dishes. And also just having his body in the house somehow motivated me to do it because there's another person there to be accountable to. But now it's just me and the kids half the time. So when the kids are coming, I'll clean up the house. I'll order groceries. I'll make sure that there's shit there. But when they're not here, I have zero desire to do anything.
Right. That makes sense.
Because it's just for me. So I don't need the house to be clean. I don't need new food. I don't need. You know what I'm saying? Ow!
What did you do?
I'm fine.
What did you do? Did you kick something?
Listen to me. The universe just gave me a sign. I'm going to change my name on here to the one with no toes because
Oh, no.
I just broke all of them at one time.
What did you kick?
Dude, it wasn't a kick. I unlatched my leg from the chokehold my other leg had in it. So it was a springboard. It was a spring act. The effing, I have a little table here with my microphone attached to
You
it.
kicked it.
And my leg unlocked and
Lord.
slammed. I mean, whoo,
You saw stars.
a Kit Kat went flying. I don't even know when that's from.
Kit Kat.
Holy.
I think here's another good point from Sean in the comments. Divorce is like a death. Your mind is processing grief a little at a time. Because it is the death of something, right? It is the death. It's the death of a marriage. And so you have to put the pieces back together and it's changing. And that's why I'm saying, like, I can't give any real information about it because I haven't experienced it. But I have lots of friends.
You're logical, though. And sometimes I'm illogical. So sometimes you're good at bringing me down to earth and reality. And so that, yeah, total death. It feels like I'm dead. But
that makes sense.
It's just so weird to suddenly just be by myself. I don't know. It just reminds me of like when I was a young adult and I lived in an apartment and I just freaking partied all the time and never cleaned my room and just like ate food from the 7-Eleven. And like, that's how I feel. Like I've never been single and sober as an adult. The minute I got out of rehab and into the halfway house, I started making babies and getting married. And so this is the first time in sobriety and my adult life that I've owned a home or had to pay bills alone or go grocery shopping alone or clean the house alone. Like it's just, I feel like a newborn baby. And
that's a good point that you made. I don't know if you spent a lot of time reflecting on that, but that has to be a huge part of this.
What?
This is the first time in your adult sober life. That's huge. You glossed over it like it wasn't a thing, but it's massive.
Yeah.
Because you went from being somebody who was irresponsible, selfish, made poor choices, to going and getting the help that you needed. And you immediately, very quickly, exited that sober living situation with a baby in your belly and then getting married.
Yeah.
And then living with that person and starting a sober journey with that person because you were both sober.
Yeah.
So you glossed, but it's huge. You can't gloss. It's like the fucking Titanic iceberg. And you're like, it's whatever. And no, that's massive. So I think touching on that more with your therapist about, because you're literally, in your words, raw dogging single parenting right now, and you aren't giving yourself enough credit. So
someone just said you were dependent on drugs, then dependent on another person. Now you're thinking you need to be dependent on someone now too, dude. That's so true.
So I think that
I've never depended on myself before and been successful. I think that's my issue. Whoa.
Okay, but can we for just a second break down your definition of successful? Because I don't know how are you not being successful right now?
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. I just mean in terms of functioning like a normal adult human person.
But everybody functions differently. The kids are fed, they're taken care of, they don't have any wants or needs that aren't being assessed and delivered.
Right.
You know, not everybody is meant to the definition of what you're considering a successful adult is a spectrum.
Mm.
And you have to take your time through this part of the journey that you're going through of this divorce and this new path on life. And the fact that you can't numb your senses or feelings with any other substance and you have to feel them all is a big deal. And it has been 5 months that you've been alone. And it's going to take time to get there. But I think you need to talk more to your therapist about what you said, because that's huge.
It is. It's very interesting. I never put 2 and 2 together until this moment, that I'm like, I've always depended on someone or something else, always, until this moment in my life. And that is probably why I'm flailing for someone to help me, because it's all I've ever known.
And you also are in a different situation, because you're doing this without extended family. So there are people who, when they divorce, they can say, well, my mom will come and stay with me, or so-and-so is going to be there for me. Not to get real dark, but you're a fucking orphan, man. Like, you don't have that network. Now you've got really great friends that you went through sobriety with, who I know, because, I've seen the adorable Instagram reels of them coming to your door and picking you up. And I hear the stories, and I feel like I know these people just because of the stories you tell me about your very close, very good friends. And that's great. And that's family. That's the definition of family. But you are missing a lot of the core parts and pieces that I think other people have as they go through a journey like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't call your mom.
Yeah.
So it has to be a different feeling.
Yeah.
So that's also a big part of it, which, is tough. I mean, unless it's when you're telling me I'm not your real mom, because that's bullshit. And annoying.
This is all very validating. I really appreciate it. It when you list all the reasons that it's like all the things that are stacked against me, it makes me feel like, damn, maybe I am doing better than I think I am, even though it's not great.
Yeah, maybe. You are. You are. That's a thing that neither of us do well, is take credit for things that we've done, or feel that, it's very hard for us to feel accomplished. It's just one of our personality traits that we share, because we are it's hilarious because we are the odd couple in so many ways, but we are very similar in other ways.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we just don't take, is that accomplishment, because we don't feel like we deserve it or that we've earned it. And that at some point somebody's going to come in and take it all away because it wasn't ours in the first place. And that's really hard to separate yourself from.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that you should talk this out with your therapist and kind of unpack all of that, because I think there's a lot to be unboxed, so to speak, over there with that. Because that's huge. And you just glossed right over it. And I was like,
I know. I've never given it a lot of thought. And this might be like the key. Like, because I already feel so much better. I don't know why I have to overanalyze everything, and I need to know why things happen, but it really helps me to process. And so the idea that there's something new for me to think about and reflect on and talk to my therapist about and maybe get some answers gives me hope. So I definitely feel better. And all of the comments have been so wonderful and so uplifting. And you, of course, as usual, you just spit facts. You just breathe new life into me. You give me new perspectives. You're an amazing friend and mom. Not that you're old enough to be my mom, but if I had to pick someone on earth who's closest, I'm laughing because I just thought about that. I don't know if we should tell them or not, but the time that I was in my financial advisor's office and I just casually called you with the biggest question anyone's ever asked anyone. Basically, can I just gloss over it?
Go ahead. Tell them whatever you want. It's your story.
my financial advisor was like, hey, so if you die, just so you know, this money goes to the state and then the state decides to do with it unless you can find somebody who you trust to be responsible for that. And I'm like, shit. Wait a minute. Hey, Meredith, what are you doing? Jogging? Cool. Listen, quick question. If I die, would you feel comfortable being responsible for all of my money and my children? And no hesitation. Well, there was a, what the fuck are you talking about? Do I need to call the police?
You were. Yeah.
Welfare check. and then once I explained, she's like, of course. And I'm like, I'll find someone else soon. I have to come up with an answer in order to leave this office today. And she's like, of course.
No, of course I would.
I
would
still
love
haven't
it.
found anyone else yet,
Chloe
but I will.
Chloe and I would be great. Caden, he's not a fan, but we can work towards it, you know. But I mean, of course I would, in a heartbeat.
But that's my
found
point.
It odd because I didn't know where you were or what you were doing, and I was like, "Is somebody holding a gun to your head right now? And if so, how much money are we talking? Hold on."
I know, but as scary and big as it was, like you were just like, of course. And it's funny to me because it's weird. It's one of those moments where somebody does have a gun to your head and they're like, okay, out of anybody you've ever met in your life, who do you trust with your livelihood? Go. And I was like, oh my God, no one.
Yeah, that's tough. It really is.
There's no one.
No.
Except you, because I know that I just know you and I know your heart and I know that you would be responsible and I know that you would do the right thing. And I know that you have such a loving heart, but also such like, you understand how hard I've worked for the money. You understand the value of it to me.
Money, guys. So much harder.
So you better treat her right.
Yeah. No, but I also, I feel like, okay. So I don't like to break rules. Obviously I'm a rule follower. It bothers me to even think about breaking a rule, and then getting caught or whatever. And I have that, I guess, guilty conscience of I have to make sure that everything is on the up and up. So I walk out of Publix the other day and I'm unloading the groceries and my basket thing in the front, you know, where you like put your purse or whatever, was flipped up. And when I pulled it up, there was half a pound of turkey breast. I go, oh my God, I stole the turkey breast. Oh my God. I just stole the turkey breast. Oh my God. And I started panicking and hyperventilating. I'm like looking back, like they're going to know I stole a half a pound of turkey breast. So I unload all of my stuff and I grab my purse to go back in the store. And Brian's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I stole this turkey breast. I have to go back in and pay for it. I'll be right back. So I walked back in with the turkey breast. I'm like, hi, I stole this on accident. May I pay for it? And she's like, you came back in to pay for this turkey breast? I go, well, ma'am, I stole it. I'm a felon. I owe you $7.67. And so she's like, okay, no problem. And so she takes it. She's like, do you want a bag for that? I'm like, no, I have plenty of bags in the car that I
shove it in my purse like I did the first time.
But I felt so guilty that I had this $7 worth of turkey breast that wasn't mine, and I had to run back in, or else, you know, God would smite me. So I ran like hard, you know.
That's a good way to live, though.
Well, I couldn't. I would have, if I had stolen that turkey breast, downhill. My life would have unraveled. I would be on the streets in a minute, in a hot second, because I literally felt like a bank robber in that moment.
That's really good though. And
but that's like, I wouldn't steal your money, right? Like I wouldn't, could, the guilt and that I would have if I had done something, like I'm talking a $7 purchase. If we were talking about a lot of money, I'd have died thinking about stealing it.
Yeah. And I know it's such a huge responsibility and what a pain in the ass. Hopefully I don't die, and hopefully I can figure out like wills and trusts and things like that. But because I have a criminal there's something so crazy. I forget what it was. Me and Drew went to do this at one point to get a will and trust. And because we have a criminal record, there was like something we had to take an extra step. I forget what it was. And we were like, fuck, this is so much, dude. We'll go back later. Like, this is too much. And then we ended up splitting, and I had to call the guy and I'm like, hey, this is awkward. You can keep our deposit It was funny because no, never mind. I'm not going to tell that story. But I called it in a meeting. I was like, but what if he goes crazy and blank, 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 and all the money's gone? And the guy's like, well, I mean, and Drew got upset with me and he's like, why do you always think of these hypothetical things that would never happen? Like I'm the biggest piece of shit. And I'm like, I'm just a realist. I just want to know if I'm putting your name on this and you're responsible if I die. Like, what if you decide to go crazy and blah, 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 blah. And he was really upset with me. And then I had to call the guy and be like, you are never going to believe this.
I'm gonna need you to sit down. I got a story. Oh my god!
But so I will get a will and trust thing soon. I just who the fuck who's gonna take me there? My caregiver has to bring me there and sit with me while I fill out the paperwork. Yeah. Otherwise, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah, it's tough. It is. But I think at your next session, you bring up what you talked about here and ask her point blank about the whole, like, what is an appropriate measure to take, an appropriate step to take if I literally want a caregiver person to come to my house and tell me to do these things. Does that make sense? Do people do that? Ask her.
Yeah.
No harm in asking. I mean,
I don't know if I'd feel as comfortable asking her as I would you and all my friends here because she has the ability to have me sent away.
Okay, she's not sending you away. You're not asking something crazy. I feel like that's a legitimate question. Like this is this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking. Is this something people do? Is this something that helps them get out of the hole and to make into making because your whole world has been upside down. 5 months is not a long time.
It's not.
And you just want to be like, I'm better. I'm good. Let's go and do this.
I guess just at least some progress. Sometimes it feels like, what I mean? I should be further along, but I do need to be gentle with myself. Somebody said earlier, stop beating yourself up. And I'm like, I'm not beating, but I guess I am kind of. And maybe I need to just start talking to myself more gently. Am I in trouble?
Do you want the microphone?
Oh God, I'm in trouble. Son of a bitch.
I actually found something yesterday.
The headphones? Well, then how will you know?
He has no desire to hear. He doesn't want to hear what I have to say. He just wants to talk.
It's so loud he can hear it. He said, "Hold on."
Rude.
So, have you seen the? Okay, first of all, you're not able to do things. I've seen you do things, so you're fine.
He's wrong.
I saw this thing yesterday, and it made me think of when you were talking earlier. Do you see the 888 thing for your daily life? So it's all over TikTok and Instagram and so forth. So it's basically you divide your 24 hours in a day, right? And you have it into 8 hours of hard work, 8 hours of good sleep, and 8 hours of leisure, I guess it's called. But then those 8 hours are broken down, right? So you get into the 8 hours of hard work, and you have, I'll send you the link because I won't explain it. All right. So there's 3 F's: family, friends, and faith inside of that 8 hours.
There's health, 3 what?
F's, 3 F's.
Mm-hmm. I've got 0 F's.
This isn't your Australian lumberjack dancer, right?
Okay. Yeah. What category does he fall?
Okay. So 3 F's: family, friends, and faith. 3 H's: health, hygiene, and hobby. And 3 S's: soul, service, and smile. So you divide that 8 hours into that. So now you never have. So here is, and I'm not going to call it a problem. Meredith, I said earlier, you're both extremes. Meredith is overdoing it.
Yeah.
Right? She won't sit down. She won't do it. And then yours is the other side, underdoing it. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
No, I mean,
yes.
Right. So I was saying earlier, you're both so different, but you're both incredibly the same. She deals with her overwhelm by overdoing the little things nonstop.
Mm,
You deal with your overwhelm by saying, well, there's too much. I can't right now.
100%.
So break it down. Get 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, break the 8 hours of work down and only do like an hour. Like Meredith does laundry every day. Do laundry once a week, twice a week.
Okay.
And only dedicate, how long does a load, 2 loads take?
Like 2 hours.
So dedicate 2 hours, 2 days a week, and you're done. That's it. That's the only commitment to laundry. If it doesn't get done, kids better learn how to wash some clothes,
Yeah.
right?
They're little still.
Shut
Okay,
up, Meredith.
let them learn. But
Amen.
I'm saying it starts moving you in that direction of, okay, it's only 2 hours. It's only 4 hours, right? I mean, what do you have in a week? So if you have 168 hours a week, you're going to dedicate 2% of your time to laundry.
I could do that.
That's it. And then pick another thing that you really don't like. And you're going to dedicate, what? Cooking.
Yeah.
Right? So only cook 3 nights a week.
That's a lot.
Do you have leftovers?
Yeah.
And now you've dedicated 3% of time to cooking. So now 5% of your whole week, you've taken care of 2 big things. But anyway, I'll send you that thing, but it's the 888 thing, and it breaks it down further.
What's the smile? Ask him.
Oh, and the S's?
Yeah.
Things that bring you joy, happiness.
Oh, see, I'm doing 98% smile.
You got to find balance. And remember what we talked about before.
Wait, how much are you putting into hygiene? Do we need to have a conversation?
0.4.
So remember when we had the conversation about Uber Eats, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. It's trading. You trade things. So if you want more time for Smile, then you have to take that time from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. And you have to keep track of the 24 hours, and you can give and take and shuffle them here and there. And if this week you really don't want to do anything, then don't freaking do anything. Just know that then those hours get added to next week. So now next week there's less Smile.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense, dude.
So, just keep trading them back and forth. But anyway, I thought it would help.
That's so true, though. Sacrificing, like trying to get a Smile this week is going to cost me some Smiles next week.
Right. Exactly.
Damn.
Think of it as a checking account. You take and you give. You got to put deposits if you want to cash them in.
That's so real. Thanks, Dave. Definitely send me that. That makes sense. We all need that link.
Calendar. I made one for someone and they don't follow it.
Meredith, tell him that everybody is saying they want that link, and that we all love him. Everybody in the comments.
So everybody said they love that, and we want to post the link. So we'll post it in.
No. They love Dave specifically, and he's such a calming presence. We literally love him.
They love you literally, and they want that. So we're gonna post it in the supporter page. Just put it in the supporter page. Okay. He's gonna put it in. Mine too.
If you want to see it, you have to join Meredith's supporter page because her husband's only going to put it in hers.
No, we can. He's going to text it to you.
I just want to let you know how hard it was to take what you were saying seriously with your candy corn nail.
It's Halloween.
One singular candy corn nail, and the rest are black.
Yeah, they're my witch's nails.
Okay. I love it. I think that you should do all of them.
Candy corn?
Yeah.
No.
Have you guys ever seen Meredith snort candy corn? The way she goes after it. I've never seen anyone tear up a bag.
I love them.
Yeah. I love your nails. They're very cute. Did you get them professionally done, don't you? So you told the lady I
Yeah.
need candy corn on this one.
She didn't know what a candy corn was. And then I showed her a picture and she goes, "Oh, okay, okay." And then she was so funny because she spent so long. She's like, "That's not the right orange.
Oh, she
That's
did
not the right
great.
yellow." And then she came back with these three and she's like, "I think we're gonna do off-white instead of white because it's too jarring for the white." I said, "You're the professional. Whatever you choose to do this candy corn, I accept." And she did it. And I
Oh,
was like, "These look fabulous.
they
Thank
really
you.
do.
That's exactly what I wanted." And then I thought, "Oh, I should have done a green nail, a purple nail, a black nail, a candy corn, and then something else because then it would have been really Halloweeny."
No.
You like the black?
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes the candy corn stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. She did a great job.
She did. I love the nail place that I go to.
Are you dressing up for Halloween?
I don't this is the first time we don't have to go out at all with the kids. Everybody is so grown that I'm gonna sit and hand out candy. It's the first time in almost 18 years that I haven't had to take anybody out to trick or treat.
Is that not devastating to you?
They're still going, right? So Sophia is gonna be Moana.
Of course. Oh
And
my God. Send me a picture.
yeah, so her and her friends are being different Disney princesses. And so she's gonna be Moana and Brian is gonna be Ferb from Phineas and Ferb because his friend group is doing Ferb, Phineas, Dr. Doofenshmirtz, Perry the Platypus.
You're not saying real words right now.
You've never seen Phineas and Ferb? One
No.
of the best kids cartoons that I ever had to sit through and watch. I would watch that without my kids on the couch. Loved me some Phineas and Ferb. And then Matthias isn't gonna trick or treat.
God, listen to me. I'm not going to get emotional. It's the end of the episode, but I don't have the kids on Halloween. And I had asked Drew prior, like, are we still going to do Halloween together? And it was a yeah, of course. But things have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's a change. I cannot not be with my kids on Halloween. I will rage. Not in a violent, like I will cry. I'm gonna dress up and in a costume and follow them around his neighborhood if I'm not gonna be like, I don't know what to do.
Well, could you have a discussion with him about the importance of this holiday and you being able to spend time with the kids and either you take them and do a switcheroo or ask him to be
Careful.
a compassionate adult and make a good choice that will allow you to be in the mix?
The thing is, it's not up to him really. Like, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean, he's so chill. I could just be like, I still want to come. And he'd be like, all right, cool. It's me standing strong in my strictly professional business only shoes. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like if I go over there for Halloween, we're going to obviously have conversations that aren't just about the kids, and it's going to like cross into like a friend thing, and I'm not trying to do that.
Right.
So it's just so hard because I can't say out of one side of my mouth, we're only speaking to discuss the kids, and then out of the other side of my mouth be like, but can I come trick or treating with you because it's convenient for me? You know what I mean? It's so hard.
Well, can you just ask for a weekend swap and you take the kids, or a day swap and you
I feel
take
like
the
that's
kids
too
trick-or-treating?
much. I feel like I wouldn't want to take the holiday from him either. I feel like that's too much. I wouldn't be like, give them to me because I love Halloween more. I could never do that. Time will tell, dude.
That's tough. I don't know.
I can't imagine. Like, if I have to survive my first Halloween without them, fine. I'm not going to let my spite keep me from doing it, though. If I have to sacrifice looking like a boss bitch for a little while, you know what I mean? Then in order to have Halloween with them, I will. But I really also want to say something and stick to it for once. So
Well, maybe this is your practice run at being there and keeping it completely professional, and you don't have conversation.
That's how I picture it in my head.
Yeah, I know. But then it always goes sideways because that's life.
Yeah, in a perfect world, we could just take the kids trick-or-treating together, be there for them, focus on them, laugh with them. But I feel like it would be like this. Oh my gosh, you guys, great job. Go up to the house. Fuck you. Good job. Off the lawn. Eat a bag of dicks, bitch. You guys are doing great. Like, I feel like that's what it would be like. It would be so hard to turn off my joy to be, you know what I mean? To not, I don't know. It's
now that's a funny sketch. I
sketch.
feel.
What
I
even
bet.
is a sketch? I don't even do sketches anymore. I don't know.
You just did one, and let me tell you, I think every divorced person would be like, yes, you've seen into my soul.
I can't listen. I can't do sketches about divorce yet.
That's fine.
Because
I'm just saying that was hilarious.
I don't want to I'm only saying this on the podcast because it feels like a closed studio.
Mm.
I don't want to make fun of him on, not that that's what you're suggesting. I'm just
No, I wasn't. I was
I know.
suggesting it's a good parody of divorce.
Yeah. So we'll see. Time will tell if you see me crying alone, dressed like a beach ball by myself at my house. And yeah, my friends keep inviting me. They're like, you could come with us. And I won't even entertain the idea, dude.
Yeah.
If I'm not with my children, there's no way I'm going to go out and be jovial with anyone else. There's no way. And my friends, whenever I get in those moods where I just want to be alone and cry and sleep, they don't let me. But this is one of those nights where it's like, I will call the police if you try to get me out of the house and not let me be sad on this night, because I will.
So then what it sounds like you're saying is that the most important thing for you is to be at Halloween with your kids.
Yeah.
So then you have to be at Halloween with your kids, and you're going to have to put on your grown-up adulting pants and stick to your boundaries and do not entertain conversation outside of the children and the Halloween trick-or-treating. But it sounds like you need to be with your kids on Halloween. So you get dressed up and you go.
Show up.
And you show up and you be a part of it, and you watch them run down the street with Butterfinger all over their faces, and they're happy and they're excited, and it's the most fun kid holiday, dressing up, all that good shit, and do it.
I agree. And I'm afraid that now that I've said this and now that the podcast is going to go out, he's going to catch wind that I'm like, no, he'll let me. And he's going to be like, guess what, bitch? You want to give me the cold shoulder at a basketball game? Figure out your own Halloween plans. I feel like.
But I don't think that.
What if he does say no?
He's not going to say no. I mean, I can't, why? There's no reason.
Well, because there's other people involved now who he might want to spend Halloween with.
Well, I think you need to have that conversation, start there. And because if it's what you want and that's what's most important
to me, but
right, that's what's most important to you, then you have to voice that, and you have to have that conversation. No, you might not get your way.
Yeah.
And that will suck, but you have to at least have the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, they're your kids. I can't even imagine being told you can't spend Halloween with your kid. Like I can't, I don't have that in my universe. So I'm not going to pretend to understand it, but I'm going to tell you that it sounds like it's what's most important to you. You have to have that conversation.
I'm going to need my caregiver here for this phone call.
I'll three-way with you.
Oh, finally.
On you.
I'm just kidding. Okay, good. We'll do it. We'll try it. I'll keep everyone posted. You'll know if you see me in pictures smiling with my kids on Halloween, everything is good. If you don't see them, I'm in a dungeon.
Oh, Lord.
Covered in candy wrappers, crying. And I'm not going to be okay for a while. So time will tell.
Another truth bomb from Sean. This is how you co-parent. You have to include whoever else is in the room.
Who is that? Ban them. I'm just kidding, Sean. I love you.
Somebody who's given some truth bombs today.
I know. Oh, God. Can you imagine?
Listen, I don't want to imagine, but I do know that you are gracious and graceful and kind enough to do what you need to do in order to spend time with your kids, because they are priority number one.
Amen.
And I know
Yes.
you can. I know you can do that.
Absolutely. 5 months in, we got this.
You do have this.
We got this.
Bite-sized pieces.
It's gonna be good. Speaking
Oh.
of, I'm gonna eat so much food after this. Emotionally eat.
Okay.
I was gonna diet today. No, you know what? I've got enough. I've got enough on my plate. I need to put more on my food plate.
Oh Lord.
Thank you. Yes, I'm gonna order the book for
But
fall.
you've not been Uber eating, right? Because we talked about that.
Yeah, that's not something I would do for sure. After our talk, for sure. That
The
would be
lies, how they spill out your mouth.
so crazy. I took the app off my phone, and then I don't know how. I think iPhone has this feature, like re-downloads all the apps that you've downloaded.
No.
Something crazy happened. But there have been a few times, perhaps, where I have, but not nearly as much as I used to. I'll show you my bank statements.
I don't want to see your bank statement. And
Okay.
I also do not agree with you that apps just re-download. That's not true. That's a lie.
It might do that. I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
I'm not sure. I'll have to check. It ended up back, and I know I deleted it, so I don't know.
Just like TikTok, huh?
Just
You don't know
like
how you got that re-downloaded.
God damn TikTok, dude. I went live on TikTok last night. Oh, it's 1:11. We've been recording for 1:11, but when I looked down, it was 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds.
All right, so it's time to get our butts in gear for the rest of our day here.
Yeah.
I have a long list of shit that I have to do.
Me too. For sure. It's so long, and I am going to read it, and I am going to do those things.
All right.
So thanks everyone so much for being here and supporting us. Sorry that this whole episode turned into an episode about me and my problems. That was not my plan.
Oh, somebody goes, it's okay, easy fix. Take Uber Eats off and just replace it with DoorDash. Duh. Okay. You're not helping. Facebook user.
I love that person.
All right.
All right. Well, join us next week, but also not on Thursday because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be out of town. So it might be on a different day for another episode.
You're out of town this coming Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next week, Thursday.
No, I'm not. You are.
No, I'm gone this Thursday.
Yeah. The next Thursday.
You're gone the next Thursday. Okay. So then we will do it a different day. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I got nervous for a second.
No, you're good if that's when it is.
Okay. All right. Let me redo my line. Join us next week for another episode of Take It
or Leave It, an advice-ish podcast hosted by two struggling moms who have no idea what we're doing.
Oh, sorry. We love you so much.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.